Welcome back to the Daughters of the Moon podcast. We're grateful that you can join us for another week.
We sure are. We're excited about this one because we haven't been on here doing us for quite a while now. And we decided then this one here, we're going to spend a little bit of our time with you, just us.
Yeah,
So this will be fun.
kicking in old school. So, speaking of kicking in old school, we're going to start off our podcast with a card for you guys. And then our topic actually is going to be about tarot and oracle cards. And we're going to just have a little conversation about that. So, we'll see where that flows out to.
Yeah.
So, do you want to go first with yours, or
Oh,
would you like me to go
I want you
first?
to go this side.
Okay.
We're going to talk about this because we talked to so many people about tarot cards. More and more people are using tarot cards, oracle cards, more people today, more oracle cards. And so we want to talk about it a little bit so that you can understand how you can work with the cards and get the information you need from them, whether you're doing it for somebody else or whether you're doing it for yourself.
Yes.
And that way you get an understanding of how you can work with them and how it's easier for you. And yeah, that's kind of sort of what we're doing with this.
Yeah. So
Okay.
should be a good one. Okay, so the card that I chose is the Enchanted Map by Colette Baron Reed. And the card that came out today was the Sacred Pool. So what I see in this card, and we'll talk about this a little bit later about some of the things that you see and how you kind of look at what you're seeing when you're looking at oracle cards as opposed to tarot.
Mhm.
So what I'm really feeling with this is it's really like it's a place that you need to be going right now in your life where you need to be calling that spirituality back in yourself. And you need to be really creating like almost like a sacred spot for yourself to be doing this and to be talking to God, universe, heaven, angels, guides, ancestors, whatever you want to say. I know in the days when I wake up and I do a morning prayer, I call always on my angels, guides, ancestors, loved ones who have passed, and those in the my soul society of a higher vibration. I borrowed that from somebody else. Tammy Master Bodhi is who I got that from. But anyways, so it's about finding that sacred place. So that sacred place, though, having said that, doesn't necessarily have to be a place that you go to because that sacred place is within yourself. And so you need to be really tapping into that and looking around for all the different signs and symbols that are coming to you every day. As you do this, like to me, there's a little butterfly in there. So for me, butterflies always mean transformation. And so it's really about how you will transform into things and move forward with that. So that is what I am picking up is like coming back to yourself and finding that sacredness.
Absolutely, absolutely. I agree with you. And because when you look at it, the oracle card, you look at it deeply because when you look at it, it gives you messages. It tells you stories when you look into it. You look deep into it and you just study it enough to see what you see. And don't be afraid of what you see because what you see is what spirit is trying to tell you. You have to trust that that information that is coming at that moment is the information that you need to be giving out or receiving to your own self. So what Kimmy said here, we call this when we do this, Kim and I, we call it stacking. Because what we do is we stack on each other's information that we see on here and we put it together to give it the better focus of what you need to know, either for yourself or for whoever you're doing a reading for. I know that's said it before, but it is what it is. Okay, so like Kimmy says, like the butterfly, okay, is definitely transformation. But you can also take the butterfly as being you. Okay, the butterfly is you. And what they're trying to see you're out there, you're experiencing things. Okay, the butterfly, you're experiencing things. This is you. You're experiencing things around you, and everything around you will tell you what you need to know. So it's saying in the water, water can be significant if it's roughly water and it's turbulent. That could be giving you a message of some things you need to know that could be not great news, but things you need to know, or maybe it's something that's welling up inside of you, giving you bad energy and that kind of thing. Could be turbulence. If the water is really calm and peaceful, that means the information is calm and it's giving you a sense of feeling belonging.
Mhm.
Because water is a really good thing for going into and seeing all kinds of things, as is the sky and things like that, where there's not too much that's going to get in its way of getting deep into the information you need to know.
Mhm.
So sacred pool would be like Kim said, going someplace, finding your own peace, to find the information you know, to carry it on for you what you need to, where you need to be traveling. So it's a beautiful card. And I mean, this is what we see. Doesn't mean what the author of make of the card itself was saying the same thing when they made this card.
Yeah.
But you and us can transform it into what we see too. Because that's what Spirit's saying to us. Okay, I'm going to guide you because it's the information you need to know right now.
Yeah. And
So,
just because we feel like the butterfly represents transformation does not mean that that's what it needs to represent to you. And your way is not wrong if that's how you interpret it. If you interpret that the butterfly means peace, then this could mean there's, peace coming up. Water may be cleansing, water might be scary to you.
mhm.
So depending on you really need to go with what your feeling is with the card
Yes, you do.
and interpret your own ways of doing them. And the more that you practice and the more that you do it, the more you will find this is what this means to me and this is what this means to
And what your
me.
gut's telling you,
Yeah.
like the cards are good because it helps you to realize that you do have somebody else trying to talk to you, and then learning how to trust your own self. Because if we once we learn how to trust ourselves better, the information we even talk to other people about is better,
Mhm.
right? And what we receive too. So I mean, this card is a beautiful card. It really is. And if you could find yourself in that and go where you need to go with that to give you the peace of your mind, because we all need that. We were just talking to somebody actually on the internet here, talking about, bringing your own tranquility and getting your own system of things working for you so that it's a better day every day because everything just comes together on a good day. So, and your cards can do that for you too,
Yeah.
particularly the oracle cards,
Yeah.
because they have a different kind of
A hundred
message.
percent. And so I am going to read it just so that you have an idea about the difference about what I see, what mom conveyed through hers, and what the author actually
Saw.
was intending for it. But again, it is always up to you to determine, even from what you read, what really resonates with you and what really doesn't. Because I know I have a daily practice of reading the oracle cards every morning, asking, what do I need to know to keep my life in alignment to live my best life?
Yeah.
And sometimes when I read this, parts stick out and parts don't. So those are the parts, pay attention to the ones.
That's right. They strike hard to you.
So when you read hers, it says, when you look into the mirror, do you like what you see? The sacred pool card asks that you focus on self love and self esteem. We are all works in progress, so a detached self examination made with rigorous honesty is called for now. Reflect by the sacred pool and be at peace with yourself. Can you see how far you've come and how magical your life is? Do you notice the spark of the divine shining through your eyes? When you're conscious that you're the embodiment of spirit, it becomes easier to respect yourself and act in good conscience. Then you'll reap the greatest rewards, sort of along the lines of what you were just saying. Your unique service to the world is not only needed but celebrated. See the love within you and know that it has it upon the waters. It will return to you tenfold. Be at peace, for you are beautiful and loved. Act with surety and confidence, and success shall be yours, whatever you inquire. And there is a reverse, which clearly I wouldn't read because it didn't come out reverse. But again, so it didn't talk about necessarily the transformation and things like that that I've seen, or that, reverence to, connecting in with spirit,
Mhm.
but it sort of did.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how an oracle card really works. And, usually they're very pretty. They have a lot of great artwork. they have a lot of really in-depth messages, but it's different from tarot because tarot really, there's a basis for tarot.
Mhm.
So, and I'm sure you've heard us talk about this with some of our guests that we've had on. You have your major arcana, you have your minor arcana. Those don't change from one tarot deck to another, other than maybe
The
the
red
red
cards.
cards.
Yeah.
But um, so, but generally speaking, you have your major, you have your minor. Even if the card is called something different in a different deck, they all have the same basis and basically mean the same thing.
Yeah, and I think too with the oracle cards, I mean, there can be some oracle cards out there that are on the negative side because there just are. But I think too that when you're going out to pick out an oracle card or a deck of cards that you want to use, it's really good to have a really strong, positive frame of mind when you're going out there looking for them, because what you want is for the most positive stuff to come out of the cards that you're reading. There's always going to be negative that will come and fold itself into it anyways, if it's upside down, that kind of thing. Or the cards beside it also can be indicative to the message that you tell to someone else or to yourself. So you can get a oracle card that can be on the negative side. But on the most part, oracle cards are going to be very good on the positive,
Mhm.
to help you find your way of transformation in your life, finding your way of giving you nice thoughts in a day. Like if you pull the cards in the morning and you pull a card, like Kim said, in the morning, it can give you a way of how your day is going to come around
Mhm.
and what you should be looking forward into in that day to make your life feel better. Because you're always going to ask for the best of you when you're pulling your cards, right? You want to have the best information. The negative will come anyways because negativity is just out in the world anyway. But if you ask for the positive side of it, then you're going to get that. You're going to get the things that you need to hear that's going to make your day positive and make a different change in the world at the same time. Because that's what we're supposed to be doing, is
Mhm.
trying to make changes in the world on the good side, right?
Mhm.
So it's a really nice card. It was totally what we saw anyway, but she just put it in a really nice way,
Yeah.
which is really good. That's why we have all these different people in this world.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, like, how do you pick tarot cards? Like or oracle, or are you drawn to one over the other, or like how do you work when you go into a store and look for a deck of cards?
I go in the store and I look at the cards. I always try to be positive about what I'm doing. If I'm not, what I find I do is I put the cards back, but I don't end up walking out with any. That's
Mhm.
kind of sort of how it goes. But if I go in there and I'm thinking, okay, that day, like I want to think about more of working with angels. Okay. So I'll go in and I'll look at the cards and I'll see the different ones. And all of a sudden, one will stand out to me. I'll take the deck, I'll look at it, read what it has to say, see who the author of the cards is, and or who even like they have oftentimes people that actually do the artwork for them too. It's all set on there. Anyway, when you look at them, then you can, if something gets to me and goes, that I want to know. I would like to try those because the information seems to be hitting the right spot with me. So I'm going to buy those cards and
Mhm.
find out what they're all about. Same with if I have fairy cards or anything like that, they're all out there for you, you know. So that's how I pick out a deck.
Mhm.
And oftentimes too, I'll pick up the deck, and if I get good energy from it, I like the good energy.
Yeah.
And if I get the good energy from it, it tells me that that deck's for me.
Yeah.
And if I get sort of like, oh, no, I don't want those ones, that one will go right back on the shelf because there's something in there I don't need to know.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's, I'm similar to the way that I pick them. Like, I will go in, if I'm in a physical store, I will go in and actually, oh, I'm attracted to this deck by the picture because it's pretty.
Yeah,
And then, right, I'm like, same, read the back, see who it's from, because I have my favorite Oracle writers, because I just like their train of thought and or whatever,
yeah.
their artistry, whatever it is. So then I do that. I also usually, if I'm physically in the store, I will hold it in my hand and almost like a muscle testing, where you're asking, are these the cards for me? And then I get a yes or no. And I generally speaking, go with that feeling that I get because it's true, because
Mhm.
it's your true self saying that.
Asking.
I have gone and bought a deck of cards one time in the store, kind of didn't really think about it, just sort of liked the outside of the thing, took them out, went through them, and was like, mm-mm. The more I went through the deck, the sicker I felt. I actually took the book them back to the store. If I do them online, which I often do
Mhm.
purchase things online, a lot of places are really good because they'll have 3 or 4 or 8 cards. You can kind of look at what they are. So look at them and see if they resonate with you.
Yeah.
Am I attracted to these cards or ugh, now that I'm seeing what the actual
Yeah.
cards look like,
Yeah.
is that not for
Yeah.
me? Because we all have different things that attract us.
That's right. That's right. And that's very true because you have to be connected. Like when I first started doing cards, there was more tarot cards than there was oracles. And so you would pick them up, take them home because I didn't know much about them. And at first, like Kim, first ones I picked up and brought home, I thought, oh my God, because everything in it was negative or seemed like it was negative. And it gave me a bad energy feeling about myself and I didn't like them at all. And I ended up getting rid of them. And because it just wasn't what I wanted to be. Yeah, it wasn't
For
me.
you, because
And
I think every deck is different from, because even, being mother and daughter, there could be a deck that I really love that she would pick up and be like, I don't really care for these cards
mhm,
for whatever reason. They give her a bad energy. She doesn't like the way that the pictures are drawn, and it's not that I don't like how that artist draws. That's not it at all. It's just I don't like the feeling I get when I look at it. It's like looking at a painting, right?
yeah.
Like we all have particular things that we like. So
Yeah, beauty is in the eyes of the beholder,
yeah,
right?
absolutely.
It's totally, and that definitely goes on with the tarot cards too. So I mean, as you go through your tarot cards and you're looking at them, if you're in the store and you're looking at them, like Kim said, just go with your gut with them, how you feel about them, well, how it reads to you. Is it an easy read? Because sometimes the author is very wordy and it can get you lost if you're not that person that's a big reader or something like that. That because it's a lot of words, it might make you feel confused or something. Where if it's just an easy read, okay,
Mhm.
and that conveys better to you, then those are the ones for you. Pick them up. Those are the ones that would treat you the best and to be easiest to converse with if you're trying to do it with other people as well,
100%.
right?
Because, and I think you've seen that on the podcast here, where we do our monthly readings and we will draw a card, and some of the cards that I own are quite lengthy. And so they, to me, are more of an introspection card. They are more of a card that you want to do by yourself because that is going, if you like that,
Yeah.
because some people just want nitty gritty, I just want the answer and be done with it, right?
Mhm,
But if
mhm.
you want that introspection, I think some of those longer red cards, unless you're just reading it intuitively and going with what you see in the picture.
Here's a question for you, Kim.
Yes,
Okay, you might give me a little kick under the table.
I might.
Okay, when you have the cards out and you're reading them,
Yes.
okay, if the cards give you a bad feeling on reading them, how do you go around that to do that reading? How do you work with it?
So, like
If you
if
read,
I was to do a reading for you, now just thinking I've drawn out my whole spread
right,
and I start reading them and the cards just kind of just don't sit. I have 2 ways of doing it.
okay,
Sometimes I'm just like, you get an intuitive feeling, I think, that it's just like, these are not the right cards for this person. This person was not in the right state of mind, not state. They weren't thinking, they were just like really dwelling on their problems or whatever. And then so I will then say, hey, could you reshuffle the cards?
yeah,
Sometimes I will still go a couple of cards more just to make sure that this isn't just the couple in there that just are kind of weird, and you kind of, for me, I kind of gloss over them and then often go back to them.
Right.
Because to me, sometimes I'm not getting that message because it's like a stuck message.
Right. And something too is before I do a reading on someone, I ask them, when you're shuffling the cards, I want you to think about positive because the negative will come through anyway. But I want them to think as positive as they possibly can because you want the good stuff to come through on that reading, right?
Yeah, that's a good way of handling it.
Yeah, and there's sometimes too, if I'm doing a reading for someone, and if especially if I'm using the tarot cards, if it comes out spades, 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 to me, spades can be very negative, and so I can actually throw them right out of the deck and not use that card to replace it with something else. And it always works out to be how it's supposed to be read for the person, because sometimes they're so negative coming in, or they're afraid of what they're going to hear and things like that. And you try to make a person comfortable because you're only there to give them, I mean, not every tarot reader are honest and truthful and things like that. But if your gut tells you it's a good thing, then go and see that person. If your gut gives you that sort of, no, I don't wanna, why am I so nervous? Don't go.
Yeah.
Just don't go to that one. There's lots of us out there.
And every reader reads differently.
Yes.
So Mom and I read similar, but different. She actually has taken a card out of the deck, thrown it across the room, and said, sorry, we're gonna move on now to a different card, which is good in a variety of ways to me in my thinking, because one, you're shifting the cards. One, often the people are often across from you, like either laugh or like something because they're surprised. So it shifts the energy in the room as well. So then the cards that are coming out, it sort of lifts that block out.
It's right.
So not all card or readers will do that. Some cards, if they fall, that's what they read, and there's nothing wrong with that either.
No.
You have to do what fits for you.
Yes.
So this is our interpretation.
Yes.
And so we just want to make that clear that if that is not how you do it, there's nothing wrong with how you're doing it.
No.
You have to do what suits you the best.
And like Kim, it's also trusting your own intuition. If if Spirit's saying to you, no, that they're not ready to receive that message, now why would I deliver it then? Because some people think they're ready to hear, they go there because they want a specific answer for something. But Spirit says, no, 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 they're not ready. They're not ready for that answer. You can't give them that. And it's interesting because sometimes when I'll be doing a reading or something, I'll go to say something and I'll start to hesitate or choke on my words. And when I do that, then that to me, that Spirit saying to me, no, no, they don't need to hear that. So, and you're not going to tell them. And so then you just go beyond that and miss that part of the reading, because there would be another time if they went for another reading that the information that they want to know will be there. Because being a tarot reader doesn't mean you're God. It doesn't mean that at all. It means that you're giving some messages to the people that they want to hear. But let's say you're going through a bad relationship right now. You really love that person that you're involved with, but things are happening in that relationship. It's not going so good right now. It's a rough and rocky road that you're on. So if you go and see a tarot reader and they tell you you're going to break up, that's all there is to it. What are you going to leave with? Right? What are you going to be thinking of? And how is that going to make you feel during that reading? You have to go on the emotions of the room, the energy of the room that Spirit's telling you. Mm-hmm. And oftentimes Spirits will say to me, no, no, that's not what you need to tell them. You need to give them this other message that tells them, okay, what can you change about this relationship? What can you change about you? Or what can you change about the other person you're with? Mm-hmm. How can you work with this better in order to make it a better union? Or it might give you information where it says, you might have to think about other ways you might be able to make this relationship work, or maybe it'll have to go in a different direction.
Or it's not the person for you. But I think the way that we work too is that we often tell people, a reading is a reading. So it doesn't matter. Even if I was a reader and I said, no, you know what? That guy's an asshole and that's it, you're done. That doesn't matter because you still have free will.
That's right.
So you need to know that going in. And I know for myself, I often tell people that. And I think you often tell people that, maybe in a different way, but it's like, I'm just telling you this. You have what I tell you, if it resonates, you have a choice to change that by listening to what this says and then saying, yeah, that's not for me. I think I'm going to change it and go down a different path. Or, oh, that made sense. Yeah, I'm going to try that. So you need to know that whoever's reading for you, there is always that free will on your part
Oh,
with it.
totally.
And it's better if you want to read for other people. My suggestion, anyways, would be to get a deck of oracle cards or get a deck of tarot cards if that's what you're more drawn to, and learn them and play with them and get your energy on them and then start practicing out with people to do it. Because I really feel like if you kind of don't even have a sense of how to use them, um, how can you read for somebody else?
That's right. You have to
Right?
know how to read the cards. You have to trust that Spirit's giving you the messages that you need to
Mhm.
be receiving too, because that's all really, really important. Blessing your cards, things like that, keeping your cards clear of negative energy. Like we bless our cards most times before we use them. And only because, negative energy can be in the house, just somebody can walk in and have an argument in your card, you need to bless them. And so every time you do that, oftentimes you lose, bless the card, or you ask Spirit, please bless these cards. People smudge their cards to make sure that their energy is good for them,
Yeah.
and that all counts. That's all counts, and it all matters. When you go into a reader, don't try to be all blocked up and because the more information you share, the better the reading is too. Because it allows the energy of the room to rotate between the two of you, and you can pick up on the energies that need to be said that day. If you go in and you're all closed up and you don't want to do anything, then it makes it very difficult for you too, because you're stopping the energy coming in towards you that you need to be hearing.
Yeah.
So it's really important that you need to know that you're on the right, the pleasant side of it is what you be.
Exactly. And I think too, like a lot of people, especially before, I think people are coming around to it, but a lot of times people go into readers and they think, I'm not telling them anything because if they're psychic and intuitive, they're just going to know. And that is true because the cards are going to say what they're going to say.
Mhm.
But I think you're right in the way that you don't have to say to them, like, you don't have to give so much information that, like, there's that fine line of
Be
being
decent.
open to being receptive and having a bit of a conversation to say, oh, yeah, that resonates with me, or oh, yeah, I can see where you're going with that, or oh, yeah, my boyfriend and I have been, in an argument this morning. That doesn't mean that you're giving it away and you're saying, oh, here's all the information, now read on that. It's just an open dialogue. So
Yeah.
yes, if they're really fishing and you'll know in your gut,
Mhm.
that's not good. But if there's that open dialogue, that's okay too, because sometimes just, I'm not saying anything. Sometimes just blocks, like you said, makes that stagnant energy.
It does. It makes it, and you want the best for your dollar. You're paying someone to give you the same information you want. That's why you're there. So, yeah, say some things that helps to get the information and the energy going in the room. You want to rely on the energy between you and the reader, and you want it to be a good energy to get the things that you really want to know. If you don't trust that reader while going in, that's not going to be a good reading either, right? Plus, people should respect how they're telling you the information from the cards. They need to respect you as a person, respect your energy as your emotions, and that kind of thing. That all has to be brought into the reading because You don't want to make a person leave there wishing they'd never come. You don't want a person to leave there going and doing something bad to themselves because you told them, oh no, you and your husband aren't going to make it. How do you know what's going to happen with that? You really have to go with your gut on that, on those individuals to see how they're going to take that. And if it's a good reader, she'll pick up on that or he'll pick up on that. And they'll relay it to you in a way that is going to be okay with you. And there's not going to be any bad coincidences, or we don't believe in coincidences, but there's nothing going to be bad that comes from it after. So that's all important
Yeah.
information. Okay?
So how would you handle then? So if let's just say you're using Oracle decks or you were using, well, not really the red decks because like let's show them one of them.
Okay.
So this is the deck that she often uses. So they're like playing cards.
Mhm.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, I did actually pull them. It wasn't a face card. So and they have writing on them.
Yeah.
So not so much these ones, I guess, unless something really stuck out to
Yeah.
someone.
Yeah.
So if you were doing a reading for someone with either your red card or with Oracle deck, and somebody was to say to you, "Oh, what does this fire mean in the corner?" Like I don't know if you ever had that. Somebody say, or oh, that word sticks out. Why does it say money? How do you handle that if somebody was to not interrupt the reading, but yeah, kind of just like being engaging that
Well,
way?
actually, what I do is I tell people because these cards all have writing and that on them, okay? And I've written things on them too because we teach people how to read the cards. Um, I tell the people if something stands out in you to you while I'm giving you the reading, you can stop me and ask me about that because maybe that's an information you need to know. You want to know something about that. So I will let them ask me and then I'll relay what I get from that card or the information around these cards that I do with the tarot deck sort of thing. Um, and I tell them in the very beginning, any questions are okay. Stop me if you want. If I'm not giving you the information you need, ask me to what you need. I need to know that so I can give you the best of why you're there with me.
Mhm.
So no, I have no problem with anybody
Okay.
stopping me
Was
anywhere in
interesting.
a reading to and I also tell people if something comes to you while I'm reading, um, talk to me about it. Because oftentimes people say, you were saying something there, and does that mean this? And then I'll say, yeah, or these cards around it mean this, and that what brings it to that.
Mhm.
So you get the answer because when you're doing cards, you're not only just reading the card that's actually in front of you, you're reading the cards around it as well because they're all giving you a story. And so you listen to the story in your own mind and in your own eyes that you see, and then you relay it to the people that are in front of you or to yourself, right? Because you need to know other things around it that can change it, or the way that you could change a situation. Supposing that morning you're going to go to work and you're thinking, oh God, I don't want to be working with this person today. What can I do around that? And the cards will tell you, okay,
Mhm.
just go to work and do your own thing. I mean, I don't know about you, Kim, but when I was working, I always put things up on my desk to ward away negative energies.
Have sprayed energy spray.
And
I've blocked. I've spiritually blocked. I worked at this one place, and I remember there was this one lady, and she was a super negative lady, and she was always very trying to find kind of the worst in people. And her and my energy just did not click. But she had a larger than life kind of personality, and she just like hustled her way into your office, and I just like, oh, like I can't because she just gives me so much anxiety. So when I went to work and we worked in little cubicles at this place, and I went to work and I was like, okay, you know what, I just can't do this. So I literally sat down at my desk, envisioned this door coming up in front of my cubicle, and I'm like, okay, anybody that's coming in with the best of intentions or, not negative energy or like just positive energy or coming in with the best of
Mm.
intentions for me and my part, let them come in. But if they're negative or they have bad intentions towards me, please keep them out of my
Yeah.
office. And I thought, well, it'll be interesting to see. So this lady comes, so goes to step into my cubicle to talk to me and step right back out again. And I was like, oh,
Good.
thank you.
Good.
Right? Because we need to sometimes put up those boundaries from these people or this energy, right? I mean, we need to do whatever we need to do. I mean, we need to share our energies too, but if there is these negative, we do need to come somehow kind of put a boundary up there.
Yeah. Yeah. And oftentimes if you pull a card in the morning, it'll just tell you like just do your
Mhm.
day your own way, try to stay away from it, whatever the case may be. But if you can put anything out there too. But I mean, yeah, when we do readings, we bless our space before the people even come in.
Mhm.
So they're walking into a good space. Also, if you start seeing people from the other side, you don't want those spirits from the other side to not want to come in because the energy is bad. So if you have good, open, honest energy, then when you're doing a reading with somebody and spirit comes to wherever they come from, and want to be introduced because the reader at the time needs some information from them, it allows them to come through as well and for you to give the information to the people that they need to hear because some people are looking, most people are looking for a past loved one
Mhm.
to come back and give them a message sort of
Mhm.
thing. And so if the space is blessed and clear, then it's good messages that come through.
I know too, because somebody messaged us the other day, emailed us and said this reader had gotten a hold of them and was telling them all this negative things and that they had to pay them. I'm going to tell you this, that most readers, and I would say 99.9% of readers,
If
do
they're
not
good
have
readers,
do not have time to troll the internet. And this is just my personal, well, it's not just my personal opinion. I've heard a lot of readers say it.
mm,
We don't have time to scroll the internet to find clients. Clients will come to us because they like our energy, they've heard about us from other people. We don't have that. I'm not going to email you and say, hey, I drew these cards on your behalf. First of all, that is like a huge no-no to enter somebody's space without their permission.
totally, because you have to be very, very good to people. You have to be
So
honest.
if somebody is emailing you that, just delete that and just let that go because somebody did email us and I actually responded to them and said, like, no, do not send them money. Do not send them, because there is scammers out there and that's unfortunate,
Yeah.
but I don't know what made me think of that. Something you must have said, but
Well, it's good to know because I know that my sister one time went to a reader and the reader told her she had bad energy, bad negative energy, and that she needed to pay her $300 to come back and she was going to take away the bad energy, but it might take a couple of times of her coming back in order to get rid of this bad energy. And my sister phoned me, she goes, oh my God, what am I going to do? I have this bad energy. I said, oh my God, stop it. No, don't go back there, number one, right? Don't go
mhm,
back to that because all they're trying to do is take money from you. Like spirit gives you the clients they give you because they trust in you.
mhm.
And that's how it should come to you too, because you're being good to the other people as well. I always say to spirit, give me the best for them. It's not about me. It's not all about me or with Kim. Not about us. It's about you. And you came to me and her so that we could give you the best of our intentions. So if anybody tells you I need more money, stop. Stop right then and there.
Most readers, if you ask them, like if you came to me in particular and said, and I'm doing the reading, you feel it, you said at some point, I feel like I really have some negative energy around me. What, you know, what should I do? What can I do? well, then that's my opportunity to be able to say, you know what, maybe I'll just smudge you before you leave the house, to kind of, try to shift your energy. Here are some things that I might suggest to do to switch your energy up, whatever they may be.
Yeah.
And it's nothing, it's like go for a walk in the woods, put your feet on the ground. Like there's things like that, not like give me some more money or pay money or necessarily go to a service. I mean, sometimes there is that, it's like, well, you could go to a Reiki session, but maybe to switch your energy or see if something's blocked.
Yeah.
But there's also other things that you can do, right? So,
And oftentimes when I do readings too, if somebody has some really negative energy around them or something, I always have crystals at home. And I'll go get a crystal and give them a crystal that I feel that
nice.
it's important for them to carry um, for whatever reason. And because sometimes good energy comes with just the fact that you've given something to somebody to make it better for them, right? And you pick the crystal for them. But I often do that because it makes me feel better too that they've walked out with something that's positive,
Hmm.
you know. So,
Absolutely.
and it didn't cost them anything extra,
Yes,
you know.
absolutely. And I just, we want to make you aware of that. And when it comes down to reading your cards, a lot of it is going with what your gut feeling is. And, even if you look at a card and then you get a different message, if you're reading an oracle card, let's just say, because tarot is what tarot is.
Hmm.
Like tarot is, there's a basis for tarot, there's a foundation for tarot. The cards mean a thing, and that's what they mean. There
Hmm.
is no
Good.
getting around that meaning.
You
Oracle
can,
cards are, we've designed these cards and, we've asked and we've got this best intention in it, but there is not a foundation as far as what the major arcana and the minor arcana and
Mhm.
what their kind of meanings are.
Mhm.
You can, depending on what, even if you got like, say, a spade in a reading and next to it you got a heart or you got a more positive one, that can tell you that it's probably going to shift and it can lessen that harshness of the card,
Yes.
but it still means what it means.
Yeah.
There is no other meaning in tarot than what that card means.
Yeah. It all
I think
it's all
that's the
about.
difference to
It
me.
is. Well, yeah, the tarot card, it's about the cards around it that stimulate what
Impact
it's
it.
about, an impact. Thank you.
Yeah.
And so that's all important with the tarot. I like the tarot, but I really like the oracle as well. But when I do my readings, most of the time it's on my tarot cards.
Yeah.
Um, Only because it gives me the picture I'm trying to find for that person,
Right.
which, and I guess because the more you use your cards, the more you get familiar with what you're doing with them too. That's how I can throw them away and going, I know I'm going to get another card that's going to make the difference for the person. But I mean, I'm young and I've done this for a long time.
Well, yeah, and I think you learn things as you go and we grow as people as we're doing cards. So what I did at 20 is way different than what I do now
Oh
at
my, yes.
55, right? Like it's changed. I've changed cards. When I was younger, I wouldn't do upside down cards. If the card was reversed, I always switched it around
Yeah,
to
yeah.
up. And that's the way that I write cards. I don't read cards like that now. I feel like now there is a message in those upside down cards, even if the author does not intend them to be reversed. I will still read it that way.
Right.
And so it's interesting how you grow and what you feel. And so there's probably readers out there that would do the same, and they
Mhm.
may have been doing it for
25
50,
years.
60 years, and that's the way they do it. There's no wrong way as long as you're coming from a place of good intention,
Yeah, I totally
in my
agree.
my opinion.
I hope that you have learned a little bit about the tarot and their oracle cards. I mean, between the two of us, we have lots. Kimmy has more than me now. But we, they're fun. They're fun, and they can give you a lot of insight. And so, yeah, pick them up, have some fun with them. Um,
So
you know,
here's a question for you, because as we're kind of winding this up, coming to an end. If somebody listened to our beautiful podcast today and was like, hey, I really feel like I would like to read oracle cards, but I would like some help in learning more about them, would you be willing to teach them?
Absolutely. I think both Kim and I
Yeah,
would be more than willing to
yeah,
teach
like
you.
as a service, like, right?
Yeah,
Like to, yeah. So if you're out there and you liked what you heard, but you're interested and you'd kind of like to reach out and learn a little bit more in depth where we could spend one-on-one time with you to learn these things, definitely contact us and we can look at, setting something up with you that we could provide that service to you.
absolutely. I mean, there will be a fee that will come with it because it's taken our time. But at the same time, it'll help you to be more in depth on how you're trying to read the cards if you're trying to do it professionally.
Yeah.
Or if you're just even trying to do it for yourself.
Yeah.
'Cause lots of people do their tarot cards every single day. You never know that they ever even had to own a deck. It surprises you and
Yes.
how many people. So yeah, if you wanted that information, yes,
But
please
if
look us
if you
up.
have a one-off question, if you're doing something and you want our opinion, and that is what exactly what it will be, please feel free to message us on our email or one of our social medias, and we would be happy to answer that one-off for you. Um, if you're trying to figure this stuff out for you, because
Hmm.
like we said, we've been doing it for a long time, you a lot longer than me, but even
At
though you're
least.
younger than me, clearly. So we do hope you enjoyed it. And, it was kind of fun doing this
Actually, it
kick
was fun
back.
because we get into our other stuff, but it's fun to share, eh?
Yes,
Share their
absolutely.
experiences because they're fun. It's a good thing to do. There's nothing wrong with it, and it might even give you a little bit of a smile on your face in the beginning of your day.
Yes,
So try it out.
yes. Give
Yeah,
it a shot. And
yeah.
thanks for joining us to Kick It Old School, where it's just mom and I. And we will see you guys next time.
You bet you will.